The Proud Tree by Jason Esparza. Deep within the heart of the enchanted forest, where silver moonlight danced upon ancient roots and fireflies wove golden trails through the midnight air, stood a proud and mighty tree. He was the oldest among his kin, his trunk wide and strong, his branches stretching toward the heavens like the arms of a guardian. For centuries, he had stood alone, watching over the forest with silent dignity, his deep roots intertwined with the earth's secrets. The creatures of the forest admired him, but they kept their distance, for he was solemn and spoke little. The wind rustled through his emerald leaves, whispering stories of time long past, but the proud tree never shared his own. He was content in his solitude, believing that his purpose was to stand, to endure, to witness. One bright spring morning, the proud tree awoke to the scent of something new, a delicate sweetness drifting on the breeze. He turned his attention downward and, to his surprise, saw a young magnolia tree growing nearby. Her petals were the softest pink, her slender branches swayed with gentle grace, and her fragrance filled the air with warmth. The proud tree was unsure what to make of her. For centuries, he had been alone, and now, here she was, fragile yet vibrant, as if the forest had decided to give him a companion. She looked up at him with curiosity and a hint of shyness. "Good morning," she said in a voice as light as a spring breeze. The proud tree hesitated and used a conversation, but at last, he rumbled, "Good morning." The magnolia tree was different from him in every way. She delighted in the birds that nested in her branches, she laughed when the rain kissed her petals, and she whispered to the fireflies that danced around her at twilight. The proud tree, accustomed to his solemn existence, found himself listening to her stories, watching the way she swayed in the wind, marveling at the life she carried within her delicate frame. As days turned to weeks, the two trees grew close. He told her of the forest before she had sprouted, of storms that had raged and passed, of the silent wisdom carried in the wind. She, in turn, shared the joy of blooming in spring, of the thrill of bees visiting her flowers, of the way moonlight painted silver edges on their leaves. And for the first time in centuries, the proud tree felt something unfamiliar yet wonderful, a sense of belonging, of companionship. One evening, the sky darkened, and a deep rumble shook the earth. The animals of the forest scurried to their burrows, and the air crackled with the promise of a mighty storm. The magnolia tree trembled as the first gust of wind swept through the forest, her slender branches bending under the force. She looked up at the proud tree, fear in her voice. "I've never faced a storm like this before." The proud tree felt a surge of protectiveness. He had weathered storms for centuries. He knew their fury, their strength, their passing. With a great creaking of his branches, he spread himself wide, creating a barrier against the howling winds. "Do not fear," he said. "I will shelter you." The storm raged through the night, its winds howling like wild spirits, its rain lashing the earth. The proud tree stood firm, shielding the magnolia tree from the worst of the tempest. He bore the brunt of the storm, his roots gripping the earth, his mighty trunk unwavering against the chaos. The young magnolia huddled beneath his protection, her petals trembling but intact, her trust in him unwavering. When morning arrived, the forest was quiet once more. The proud tree shook the lingering raindrops from his branches and looked down at the magnolia tree. She was safe, untouched by the storm's wrath. She gazed up at him, her soft pink blossoms trembling with emotion. "You protected me," she whispered. "You stood strong when I could not." And then, with great tenderness, she let one of her blossoms drift from her branch, allowing it to settle upon his weathered bark. A magnolia flower, a gift, a thank you, a promise. The proud tree felt something stir within him, something warm and bright. He had stood alone for centuries, believing his purpose was to endure. But now, he realized his purpose had changed. He was not just a guardian of the forest, he was a protector, a friend, a companion. From that day forward, the proud tree and the magnolia tree grew side by side, their roots entwining beneath the earth, their branches reaching toward the sky together. Seasons passed, storms came and went, but they stood together, bound by something deeper than time. And in the heart of the enchanted forest, where moonlight danced upon ancient roots and fireflies wove golden trails through the midnight air, the proud tree was alone no more.